Every time the name Strait of Hormuz appears in the news, the world pays attention. Not because it's famous, not because it's beautiful, but because this narrow stretch of water quietly controls a huge part of the global economy. At first glance, it doesn't look extraordinary, just a thin waterway between Iran and Oman. But every single day, massive oil tankers move through this route, carrying nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. Think about that for a second. A single, narrow passage, helping power cars, airplanes, factories, and entire countries. And if something goes wrong here, gas prices around the world can rise almost instantly. Markets panic, governments react, headlines explode. But here's the strange part. The real story of Hormuz isn't just about oil or politics. It's about survival. Because beyond the military tension and giant tankers, there's another world here. One most people never see. Imagine standing on an island where the heat is so intense that midday feels almost unlivable. The air is dry. Fresh water is rare. The ground looks burned by the sun itself. And yet, people have survived here for thousands of years. Empires crossed these waters. Merchants risked deadly voyages to reach this region. Explorers came searching for trade, power, and opportunity. But why? What makes this place so important that humanity keeps returning to it again and again? To understand Hormuz, you can't just look at a map. You have to experience the environment itself. The first thing people notice on Hormuz Island is the color. Mountains covered in red, orange, yellow, and purple layers. It almost looks unreal, like another planet. But these colors tell a story millions of years old. Volcanic eruptions, pressure from the sea, and shifting land slowly created these strange landscapes over time. Every layer of rock represents a different chapter in Earth's history. This island isn't just scenery. It's evidence of how powerful nature really is. But despite all its beauty, life here is difficult. And the people who live here learned something important long ago. You don't survive by fighting the environment. You survive by adapting to it. Life moves around the heat. Work starts early in the morning before temperatures rise. By noon, everything slows down. Then life returns again in the evening. Even the homes are built for survival. Thick walls, small windows, open airflow. Every design has a purpose. Nothing is wasted here. And honestly, that might be the biggest lesson Hormuz teaches the world. Survival isn't about having unlimited resources. It's about learning how to live with what you already have. Now, while small fishing villages continue their daily routines, another reality passes right beside them. Gigantic oil tankers. Ships so massive, they look like floating cities. These vessels carry energy that powers entire nations. Billions of dollars move through this route every single day. And that's where the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. On one side, local fishermen worrying about the weather. On the other, global superpowers watching every movement in the region. Two completely different worlds, existing in the exact same place. But the deeper story goes beyond humans. Even the sea here is fighting to survive. The waters around Hormuz are extremely warm. So warm that many coral reefs around the world would die in these conditions. But some corals here adapted over thousands of years. The weak disappeared. The strongest survived. And these coral reefs aren't just beautiful underwater structures. They support fish populations, protect coastlines, and help entire ecosystems stay alive. But now, pollution, oil traffic, and climate change are pushing this fragile system closer to collapse. And once that balance breaks, the damage spreads everywhere. Near these coastlines are mangrove forests, trees growing directly in salty seawater. Most trees could never survive there, but mangroves evolved special systems to filter salt through their roots and release it through their leaves. These forests are like underwater nurseries. Thousands of marine species begin life here. If these ecosystems disappear, entire food chains disappear with them. And that's what makes Hormuz more than just a geopolitical hotspot. It's a warning sign. Because this tiny region reveals something bigger happening across the planet. The world is changing faster than ever. Temperatures are rising. Resources are becoming more fragile. Environmental pressure keeps increasing. And places like Hormuz feel those changes first. That's why global powers constantly watch this narrow waterway so closely. The Strait of Hormuz is incredibly narrow in some areas. Giant tankers must navigate carefully. One mistake, one conflict, one blocked route could impact economies across the entire planet. But for local people, life continues. Fishing boats still leave in the morning. Families still adapt to the heat. Children still grow up beside the sea. Because for them, Hormuz is not a headline. It's home. And maybe that's the most important part of this story. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just about oil. It isn't just about war. And it isn't just about politics. It's about how humans survive in extreme conditions, how nature adapts under pressure, and how one small part of the world can affect billions of lives. In the end, Hormuz forces us to ask one uncomfortable question. Are we actually paying attention to the warnings around us? Or are we only noticing the crisis once it's already too late? Because the world is changing, slowly but undeniably. And in the future, the people, countries, and ecosystems that survive may not be the strongest, but the ones most capable of adapting.